glass with a smile for hours at a time. Stare at the ceiling while I hold back what's on my mind. And when they ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm just fine. And when they ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm just fine. The fact is, I can never get off of my mattress. And all that they can ask is, why are you so sad, kid? That's what the mask is. That's what the point of the mask is. So you can see I'm trying, you won't see me crying. I'll just keep on smiling, I'm good. And it just keeps on piling, it's so terrifying. But I keep on smiling, I'm good. I've been caring too much for so long. Been comparing myself for so long. Been wearing a smile for so long. It's real, so long, it's real, so long, it's real. Always being judged by a bunch of strange faces. Scared to go outside, haven't seen the light in ages. But I've been places, so I'm okay-ish, so I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay, bitch. But the fact is, I need help, I'm failing all my classes. They think that I need glasses. I just really wish that I could pass this. That's what the mask is. That's what the point of the mask is. So you can see I'm trying, you won't see me crying. I'll just keep on smiling, I'm good. And it just keeps on piling, it's so terrifying. But I keep on smiling, I'm good. I've been caring too much for so long. Been comparing myself for so long. Been wearing a smile for so long. It's real, so long, it's real, so long, it's real. So long, it's real. So long, it's real.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Para Para podcast. That was a bit sudden transition. I tried to transition with the playlist I'm using today, but yeah. Okay, let me lower the volume a bit so it's not too loud. Okay, hello everyone. How's everyone today? Let me get my chat on screen. There we go. How's everyone today? It's so hot today, and I'm begging you to have a sip of water, like right now, if you're watching this, or if you see the notification at all. I added to remind everyone to hydrate yourself today because it's so hot today. Like it was like 33 degrees, and because of that, like I'm so sleepy today because of the heat. My eyes are like shutting, and I'm just so exhausted. I even put like 6 pieces of ice cubes in my water bottle because I was just so like out of it. Yeah, so today our episode is about theater versus introversion. Now, this was the episode I did like way back, like a few weeks back, but it didn't have any audio on it for some reason. I hope it doesn't happen again with the same episode. I would be rather upset. Yeah, so this is our recap episode, a redo episode like what I did last time, but yeah. So since I'm rather tired today, it'll be more of a chill stream, just me and you talking. So yeah, let's get started with the episode, shall we? Um, I see myself in the chat. That's very worrying. I open my users in chat and just see my other account is alright. I am a moderator, of course. Alright, so let's get on with it. So I was a drama kid for 6 years. And those 6 years, I guess, really had a huge impact on my life. And I was like debating on whether to redo this episode or not. But this episode is kind of like super important to like my personality, I suppose, and just in general my like my life. And also it's important. This episode is quite important to like one of my future episodes I will be talking about, where I discuss leadership and stuff. So yeah, let's rewind back to primary school. So in primary school, maybe like primary 1 or 2, like 7 years old ish, I was an extrovert, and I was like sort of this class clown. I don't know how that happened, but in primary 3, when I was like 9 years old, I became an introvert. And at that time, I decided to join dance, and I did dance for 4 years of my love life. Life. I did dance for 4 years of my life, and um, it's I still appreciate like dance, and I love watching people dance. It's just not for me, you know. So I decided to join another CCA, co-curricular activity, in secondary school. Gosh, I'm so sleepy. this might have to be a short one today, but yeah. So in secondary school, like secondary 1, I would say I was like 15 years old. I like I liked creative writing, as you know. The imagination episode I did last time, I'm pretty sure I wrote this to be like my second or third episode, but right after my imagination episode, but it just did not happen. I mean, it did happen. I talked for 1 hour to myself and realized afterwards that there was no audio. I don't know what happened. And so since I like creative writing so much, I thought, oh, I'll audition for a drama club so I can write scripts and stuff like that. Little did she know, she doesn't ever write scripts in her life ever. So yeah, I decided to audition, and I passed the audition. So now it's just the matter of whether I join the CCA or not. And I was really stoked that I passed the auditions. I was like, yo, I'm so good at this. It was like an interview, I think. Anyways, I got in. Turns out I got in because only 2 people from my cohort actually joined drama. Like, no one enjoys theater in this Christian school. Yeah, so there were only me and this other guy in like the same level in this CCA, which, you know, I was already shy and an introvert in the first place, but not having anyone the same age or the same cohort to talk to made it even worse. So I was like super shy when during my early years of drama. Yeah, so what I did was like not really that much, I suppose. So I started off my drama career with prop making. I remember okay, my first drama like session, we did this sort of improvisation thing with my like teachers, and like during that period it was SYF period, Singapore Youth Festival, meaning like the main cast was doing intense training with the coach, while the rest of the CCA was just like doing their own thing, I guess. And we were doing props for a play. I don't remember what it was, but I remember we made this taxi that lasted for like 3-4 years, like throughout my stay in drama in secondary school. Yeah, that caused us so much stress, but it was worth it in the long run. We used it for so many plays. Um, there was this once where I came out of my shell a little bit. Um, so basically, our coach, after the SYF thing, our coach had us write a song to introduce yourself as a sort of character. So like you make up your own character. I think that's how it went, and so it's basically improv. And so I decided to come off my shell. I wrote a parody of the Pokemon theme song. I wanna be the very best, that one. And I sort of did a little dance, a little song, and oh my god, it's so embarrassing to think about right now, but it was so intense, and after a while I got tired, and my coach was like, well done, you did good. I can see you tried, you tried, you made an attempt to come off your shell a little bit there. I was like, yeah, I did. So yeah, this is like my secondary 1 experience. Secondary 2, I still had no roles, acting roles yet. I was still doing props, which is kind of upsetting. And we participated in this competition, but unfortunately I wasn't chosen for any role. Probably because I was so shy and they didn't see any I saw potential, I guess. And so my juniors, the people who are a level lower than me, and 2 other people who joined the CCA, like 2 other people in my cohort who joined the CCA afterwards, got chosen as the role. But I was upset. However, I understood why they didn't pick me. I guess I was super introverted. Anyways, after that whole competition and like me not doing anything, one of my seniors had to step down to focus on their major exams, right? And so I was a replacement for that person's role. They sort of like reprised her role to make a special role for me, and I was a drink stall auntie. So I was managing a so-called hawker drink stall. And I remember the first time I memorized my lines and went up to say it. The first time, like, I actually did it in front of my coach. I was so nervous. I was like, I said my line in like 2 seconds. And my coach was like, calm down, you can do it. I said, okay, thanks. My coach was really nice. Yeah, so I had that like really small role, and that was like my first ever acting role. After that, I did this sort of presentation for International Friendship Day. I don't know why they picked me, but they picked me, and since I am half Thai, I decided to represent my country and talk about Thailand cultures and stuff. It was embarrassing. I still remember that day. I was standing on stage and my legs were shaking so hard, and I was trying not to show it. And I was so awkward. I was like, anyone here know pineapple salads? And then I saw a few hands raised up. I was like, yeah, in front of the whole school. That's so embarrassing. And I had this one senior who was like really good at doing these kinds of things, right? And he was right after me. So after I left the stage, he was like, yo, and the whole school was like, yo. Meanwhile, they were like super silent for me, but like whatever. It was an experience, I suppose. So after that, I had my second acting role. It was for this open house. Open house is basically where other potential students come to your school and decide if they want to join the school or not. And I was in charge of the CCA, and we had this like CCA showcase, and I played the role of this kid's mother. At this point, I was getting more like open, and I think you could start to see my potential. So I remember I stole my mom's clothes to like act in this mother role, but what I forgot on that day was that I didn't bring any shoes. I didn't bring any shoes, so I was just wearing my white school shoes with my mother costume. It was so awkward. It was so weird, but whatever. So yeah, that was our open house. So let's head on to secondary 3. I remember we did this Chinese New Year thing at the start of the year, but honestly, it went so bad that I probably repressed most of it. Um, it's so embarrassing. I did like a kind of big role as well, but something went wrong backstage, so I had to stall on stage for super long, and there was just the entire school in front of me just waiting, and I had to keep stalling, and it was so bad. Oh my god. Anyways, let's talk about the big thing, my SYF. So, I participated in SYF in secondary 3, and let's see. At first, I wasn't chosen for the role, and I was really upset that I couldn't participate in the SYF, but I eventually got a role because the person in the role, I guess, wasn't doing it enough, wasn't representing the role good enough. So yeah, it was this play about bullying in school, and we had these little balloons that we will pop that represent our emotions and feelings. So for example, whenever some bully starts to bully us, we will get super upset after doing a whole monologue, and we will pop the balloon representing how we feel horrible and how our emotions just brat, you know? And we popped so many balloons that honestly I'm not scared of balloons popping anymore. And we didn't do very well, honestly. So while I was writing out this episode, I found a repressed memory in my diary because I was trying to search up like what plays I did throughout my secondary school life. And I found this repressed memory where one of my seniors this senior was my senior when I was in secondary 1 and she was secondary 4, meaning she was 3 years older than me. Okay, let me count. When I was 13, she was 1, 2, 3, 4. She was 16. So in this SYF, I was in secondary 3, meaning I was... Okay, I'm losing count already. 16, 13, 3 years. And then in this year, I was 15. So this senior was 18 years old. That's embarrassing that she did this. What did she do? So this senior came back to watch like the SYF showcase we did when we had like SYF basically. And we performed our play in front of the entire performing arts CCAs. And I remember my friend sent me a message. Wait, that comes afterwards. Okay, before that, we went back to our drama practice room, and this senior, who, by the way, only knew two of us, not two of us, like two of us from my year and like my 1 year senior above me, and didn't know most of us who are acting in this play. This senior, who was 18 years old, just screaming at a bunch of 13 to 16 years old, this 18-year-old senior said, and I quote, "You guys suck. There's no sugarcoating, okay? You guys suck." Like, oh my god, that's so embarrassing. Like, imagine being 18, going back to like your secondary school, and then just screaming at a bunch of kids you don't know and telling them that they suck at a very critical time where they should be having like positive reinforcement and criticism, and just telling them that you guys suck. I bet this senior peaked in secondary school and just fell off in like JC or whatever. Yeah, she did go to JC. She just fell off in JC and just went back to secondary school to just yell at a bunch of kids to feel better about herself. Like, in no circumstance is that okay, right? If like the CCA, if our drama crew genuinely did suck, there's no excuse to just say you guys suck. That's genuinely so hurtful, and apparently so hurtful that I repressed it from my memory until I read my diary again. And I think that just set the tone for like the rest of our SOF experience. We just felt so down after that we just did not feel good again. um, I remember my friend sent me a message afterwards saying how she resonated with the play a lot of, after being bullied and stuff, and she didn't understand like why this senior said you guys suck, and that made me feel a bit better. But I appreciate the friend for saying that. Um, yeah. So there's another traumatizing experience from this SYF era, where my seniors, not the same seniors that said, not the same senior that said you guys suck. My seniors who are 2 years above me, who graduated already. They came back to support us on the actual SOF day, right? And the seniors were joking about with the juniors who are younger than me, and like my cohort mates and stuff. And these seniors just look at me and they're like, "Do I know you?" I was so shocked because I was with them for like 2 years, and for them to look at me and say, "Who are you?" after like joking around with juniors who are younger than me and people who joined the CCA after me, it was so like hurtful. And like I grew a lot after like my first 1.5 years of drama, right, which is when these seniors knew me, of course. But at that moment I just felt like I was being transported back to secondary 1 and 2, where I was just so introverted I could not speak to anyone and like anyone at all. But like at secondary 3 I grew more extroverted. I learned how to like step out of my comfort zone. I learned how to like talk to my CCA mates and socialize. But to have my seniors just turn to me and say, "Do I know you?" was just so like traumatizing. And I remember like, oh, it was so bad. Yeah, we didn't get gold for or distinction for that SYF. I knew from the moment we finished the play and we stepped out of that competition hall that we would not get distinction, because it just didn't feel like my best performance, and I just didn't feel like we did good enough, I think. Yeah, SYF that time wasn't a really great experience. I even remember crying once during practice because I at that point I realized, oh my god, we are not going to get distinction, and I felt that way constantly until the end of SYF. And I was like at the very end of our practices, and I was like, no, we aren't getting that distinction. Which is true, that happened. Yeah. Let me have a sip of water. Remember to hydrate, it's hot. I started earlier today, by the way, because I was really tired. I think I'm gonna go to bed earlier today. Yeah. Alright, so let's not talk about SYF anymore, which was kind of traumatizing. But let's talk about the turning point in not just like my drama years, but my turning point in life in general. So there are 4 people in my cohort and my level, right? So like after my seniors stepped down, someone had to be chosen for president, and guess who got picked to be the president of the drama club? That's right, it's me. It's the girl, Para JX. So yeah, I got picked as president. Not because I was showing a lot of good leadership qualities, but okay, so there's 4 of us, right? There's me, there's this one guy who was with me since the start of this drama career, who is how do I describe him? He's a bit blur, I guess. How do you say it in non-Singaporean terms? I guess he's just a generally confused man. And the other 2 people who joined in secondary 2 are already student counselors, so it was either me or this guy, and I guess I was the more viable option, so I got picked as president. I remember the day I got picked as president. I remember I was sitting in a restaurant at North Point, which doesn't even exist anymore. um, I don't remember what it's called. My family jokes that it's called Jihao because it's Juhao, but it's not Jihao. It's some sort of different like Jihao or something. I don't know. But the restaurant's not there anymore. It's been replaced by Paris baguette. Do you like to be in Paris? Yeah. I was in that restaurant ordering my food, and I got that text from my theater teacher, and I was so shocked. I was like, oh my god. Anyways, after that, I remember having to send a text message to my drama group chat, and I was so nervous. I was so socially anxious. I couldn't even send that text message. I was so nervous. I had to tell my parents to tell me to press the send message button. Yeah, so that was the very start of my anxious president career. So me being president really changed a lot. Yeah. Gosh, I'm trying to remember what we did. I remember my coach told me to just sit back and observe first, and after that I'm gonna take more action in the next year. And I think I'm gonna talk about this more in the leadership episode actually, because it taught me a lot about leadership that back then I did not understand fully. But I will talk more about that in my leadership episode. It says here that I have that episode written to be broadcasted on the 3rd of July, so stay tuned for that. Where was I? Right. So I wasn't the best leader. I wasn't the most assertive person, and there were a lot of traumatizing things that happened, which I will discuss in a future episode. But I just want to say that because it's kind of important to me. But let's talk about how my presidency sort of affected my introversion. I think that's the main focus of this episode, I think. So gosh, I suddenly forgot what happened through the end of the year. Oh, I remember. Oh, I completely forgot about this. So we did a small play about colors at the end of secondary 3. Gosh, I completely forgot about that. But I think I will talk about that in the leadership episode. Let me see if I have that written down for that. Okay, let me just type it down so that I remember to talk about it in the future. Right. Okay. So let's not talk about that. That's for a future episode. But we had a school concert in my secondary 4 year. So this school concert is basically all of the performing arts group coming together to put on a school concert for the school, I guess, and whoever who wanted to watch. It was a big thing, and I was not only the president of the club at that time, I was also the director of this play. So basically, the script, right? We had to come up with the idea. So me and this other kid, one of my junior who I appreciate a lot. Gosh, I'm just thinking about her. She's very sweet. Anyways. Oh, she's really sweet. I miss her. Maybe I'll talk more about her in the leadership episode. There's so many things that I'm thinking about right now. One sec. Okay, I'll write about her down here. Because she's a really important part to why I stayed sane throughout my presidency. She's a good kid. Anyways. Me and this kid came up with this idea, and my new coach at the time um, wrote it into a script. And so I was the director of this huge school play that we're doing. And it gave me a huge boost of confidence. Like, I became more assertive as a president, and I definitely learned how to place my foot down, I think. Put my foot down, not place my foot down. And yeah, after taking up the leadership role and directing the play, I grew more and more out of my shell. I was less shy, and honestly, I'm so thankful that my drama teachers decided to choose me to be a president, because honestly, I do not know how I would have turned out if it weren't for me being a president at that time, because I genuinely was so socially anxious for the first 3 years of my secondary school life. But after this happened, after me being president, I grew to be more less extroverted, I guess, as in I can confidently talk to people without getting too anxious. I'm still a bit anxious, of course, but I'm not as anxious as I used to be. Alright, so that's the turning point of my life, being president, and yeah, I think I will talk a lot more in depth about it in my leadership episode. But for now, let's head on to my JC drama years. So in junior college, I decided to join drama again. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's my home, right? And it is. I am so glad I decided to join drama again in JC, because I genuinely found a sort of community there. I think I talked about it before in my bisexuality episode, but it's just such a comfortable group of like-minded people, not only in the sense that we all like drama, we all like the same type of music and shows, but also we're all fucking queer. And that's it feels good to be openly queer in front of other people who are of the same age as you, I guess. Alright. So in my J1 years, I was okay, so this is my character arc, right? I'm going outwards. First I was a prop guy, then I was a backstage guy, then I did minor roles, then I did presentations, then I became the president and director. But there's one role I haven't done before, and that's being the main character of a play. And so I decided to go for a main character of a very, how do I say this, an old play. It's a play that takes place in, I think, in the 19th century-ish. 19th century Edinburgh, Scotland. Yeah. And I decided to audition for the main character. And this other person, she was my senior and was also the president, and she's just really a cool person overall. Decided to audition for the same role too, and I was super scared because I thought she was gonna get the role, but ultimately she gave it to me, I think. I shouldn't discredit myself so much, but that person, that president, was honestly such a great actor alongside being a great person, you know? Yeah. So I got the role of the main character, and she's basically a sort of doctor. And yeah, I still don't know how I managed to memorize the entire chunk of text I had to as a main character, but I did, and that was honestly a round of applause for me, because honestly that was so that was so cool of me. I could never be as cool as I was back then. 2019 was a good year, wasn't it? Too bad it's been downhill since then. So yeah, I played the role, and honestly, the cast around me in that play was so supportive of me, and I found such a good like network of people who just genuinely are supportive of me, and that felt really good. Yeah, and honestly that they helped me to like be more confident and stuff. And I remember like one of my most like cherished moment in this entire experience was that my drama coach at the time, after we did like one rehearsal on stage, we were gathered outside to do a little like feedback talk, right? And my coach said to me, "Jax, you did really well today. I really wanted to how do I say this? Compliment you on your energy today. I think it was perfect, and I think I think you should continue to keep this up, and you do an amazing job." And she just complimented me, and I was so shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, me, and like that was like the peak of my life, honestly, being complimented by this like by this like coach, who by the way is super strict and like super like how do I say, yeah, she's strict about these kinds of things. I was so like honored to be complimented by her, and you know that meant a lot. Yeah. And on the day of the play, it was so fun. It was so fun to be on stage, and even though I slipped on stage and kind of like stretched my thigh, it hurt afterwards. I slipped on stage, but it was fine. Even after that, it was such a great experience. All of my friends and family were there. It was so good. It was so great. It made all of the like late nights worth it. There was one week where we just had to stay in school from like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. That was so horrible, but we all put through, and we managed to put up a great play for the school. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, so that was my experience being casted as the main character. In the next year, it was like A-levels year. I decided to like get casted in more minor roles, so I got casted in this one small role for the yearly school play, where I acted as this grandmother, I think. And I was also casted in another play, in the SYF play actually, where I was part of a chorus, and we were basically the background characters who we had singing roles, by the way, and we had to do singing auditions. I genuinely did not think I would pass, but for some reason, the coach chose me to be one of the 3 girls in the chorus. Sorry. And honestly, it was pretty fun, you know. Like I was doing like 2 minor roles, and it was my first time being in like a chorus, and it was a SYF play too, which was really exciting. Too bad the entire COVID thing happened. I wonder what would have happened, like genuinely, like if there weren't any COVID, like if there wasn't COVID, because I would have loved to participate in a higher level SYF, especially after I flunked my secondary school SYF, but too bad, we'll never know. Yeah, and that is my drama career. That it ended so abruptly because of COVID, and that really sucked. And basically, my 2020 drama experience was basically non-existent. But yeah, that is my story of being in English drama club, and how it sort of made me grow as a person. I'm not saying being introverted is bad. Maybe a better title for this episode would be theater versus social anxiety. Because I would say I am less socially anxious right now. I know the whole like pandemic thing made me even more anxious than I was before, but before the pandemic, I was less socially anxious than I was like when I was 15. When I was 13, you know. So yeah, that's the episode for today. I genuinely hope that there's audio on this. If not, I will cry. And yeah, I guess I won't rate anyone today because there is no one watching me. But oh, there's there's 2 people watching me. Where do you guys come from? I'm about to end soon. Yeah. I guess I still won't read because it's still showing me like 1 viewer, but whatever. Yeah, that's the end of today's episode. My next episode will be a rather interesting one, something that I've hinted at before, something you guys, the chat, have been talking about in the past podcast episodes. And if you're here, feel free to leave a follow. I'm very close to 10 followers. Please follow me. And also, if you're watching on the VODs channel, you can subscribe. I do cute thumbnails. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day. Remember to hydrate. It's super hot recently. And yeah, goodbye.